So today I'm going to give you some of the tips that I've given to clients throughout the years which pertains to sitting when you're driving. A lot of people complain of back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, you name it, when they're driving. You're stressed, you're sitting, you can't move for hours possibly on end. So these are some particulars that I find help people in the car for those issues. First thing I tell people when they get in their car, you want to adjust your rearview mirror only in the morning time. Morning time is when your spine is going to be at its tallest because you've just come off of sleeping. So that's when your posture is going to be its best. Therefore, that's when you want to adjust your rearview mirror. And that's going to serve as a cue throughout your driving day as to how your posture is if you're slouching down in your seat. Next, with regards to distance from your seat, from your wheel and how far you should be or how close, you want to position both feet on the ground equally. One foot's on the gas, one foot's to the far left where you'll find like a little plank for your foot to rest. Once you have that down, make sure both backs of your hips and butt are all the way back against that seat, and then play with your distance. Your distance should be so that when I put my hands in that 10 and 2 position, they're not fully straight and they're not bent tremendously. They're just a small bend in the elbow. That serves for safety. If you ever get in a car accident, you never want extended legs and arms because that's going to absorb the shock of the impact and possibly break something. You want soft, pliable joints. It also just helps keep your shoulder more relaxed. You're not pulling forward in your shoulders to hold the wheel, which is a common mistake people with shoulder problems do. So once you have your distance set, then you're going to set the position of your seat, your recline. It's a common mistake that people think you should sit more upright when you have back problems and neck problems. It's actually the opposite. You want to be slightly reclined. The more upright you are, the more you're going to have to fight that impact of gravity coming down directly on your spine, pushing you. And people, most of the time, slouch forward off the seat if they're too upright. You want to be back leaning into your seat using that support. So what you do, position your whole spine against the seat. So I can feel the back of my tailbone and buttock area on the seat. I can feel just below my shoulder blades and the backs of my shoulder on the seat. And I can feel the back of my head on the seat. From there, play with your recline. Get it to where you feel you can comfortably rest on the seat, but still see safely out your window. So you don't want to lean back so much where you have to pull your head off to see directly in front of you. So once you have that position, stay there. From there, if you have a car that you can adjust the lumbar support, great. You want to put a little bit of pressure just so you feel a little bit of push into your spine, but not so much to where it's creating too much of an arch and you're actually probably going to shift away from that and end up slouching. What I find people need more than lumbar support, low back support, is upper spine support. I find if you put support up in the upper back, it often is more successful at preventing that slouching position people do when driving than adding a ton of support in your low back. So you can do this really easily. I just have a small rolled up towel. I'm going to put it on my upper spine and lean back into it. So it's much harder for me to slouch with something pushing slightly into my upper spine than if I was to add a lot of support in my lower spine. So that's one tip I give people to work with if they're having issues slouching. The other thing is your neck. Most of us end up pulling our head off the seat and having our head out here while we're driving. So your neck is having to work to absorb every impact of every turn, every brake, whatever it is you're doing with driving, your neck is working overtime to support you out here. Use the seat. Let the seat help you absorb some of that impact. Keep your head on the seat as much as you can. If you can't comfortably do that because you have a forward head position, or perhaps your seat headrest doesn't adjust well, again, use household items to play with your seat till it's comfortable on your seat, on your head. I used a small towel again, put it in the crook of my neck, and I feel supported here. So play with things around the house before you go and order things specifically made for a car. You'll often find that small pillows and towels work just as good as any sort of special things you can order. And now we're ready to go.